Hey people, good afternoon from Dhaka, Bangladesh. Joy here. I'll be doing a talk, I do this from time to time. Perhaps some of the points that I do kind of overlap, but then that there are a lot of all the time new members coming in, a lot of new frag heads. So it's good to have updates from time to time. Those who watch, just like to share some thoughts and some tips. And today's topic of fragrance talk, it's gonna be I think 10 mistakes that we often make while using fragrance. It's not serious or anything. It's just, but it's good to share sometimes the mistakes maybe I have done in my personal life as well. But maybe if we learn from our mistakes, it's good. And maybe if we avoid these issues, then we can enjoy the fragrance game a little bit better. That's what I feel. So these are my humble opinions. Okay, so I did do initial impression on this beautiful fragrance yesterday, the Mercedes-Benz Club Black. So this is a flanker of Mercedes-Benz Club that I said yesterday in my review. I'll do a full-on review on this bad boy as time progresses. I'm wearing it as a scent of the afternoon at 3:30. It's kind of cold air as the sun is up. Maybe perhaps later today I'll go for afternoon walk. So this is really really good. So some people asked some question on the video I saw. One of the questions where you said it's kind of reminiscent of Tobacco Veni. How close is this? So you see, the thing is, not every fragrance is going to be exactly the same with other fragrances, but that vibe that you get from Tobacco Veni, that vanilla, especially the boozy vanilla that you get with a lot of amber and sweetness in here. So it also kind of, if you can think of 24 Gold Scent Store, it has a raspberry sort of a amber vanilla going on in this. Is a beautiful fragrance, but it's very very strong. It's not wearable all year round. So this one solves that problem for you. This one is much more wearable. It has good longevity once again, and it does last long time, but doesn't choke you. Even if you apply here, if you go 5-10 sprays, no one's gonna bother complain. So that's the best part of it. You can wear it even kind of like early fall days, and it's a price tag if you can find. I'm definitely gonna say do not pay retail on this one, but I would happily think like this is a great fragrance for for the quality. It's really really good. So that's why I kind of said I hyped it, because I believe in fragrance that do not get hype, but they're good. They deserve that hype, right? So basically, yeah, that's the one question that I tackle. And those who said you were waiting to pull the trigger on this fragrance, I see it sometimes. Some people need to actually talk about a fragrance that it help some other people over there, all around the world, that just to make that point, move, just convincing, that you need that convincing factor. So if someone else bought it, used it, and they liked it, so it influenced other people. So as long as people are honest, so I think that helps others in the community. So that's pretty much the update. So let's get into the topic. So we have 10 points. I'll try to go through them quite quickly, okay, without making it such a big video. First thing is, let's talk about retail. First mistake is do not pay retail on most fragrances, or 90% of fragrances. I don't think it's worth it. I'm pretty sure many companies not gonna like this if they watch this video, because if you see that brand new fragrance come out, they're always gonna be retail and gonna be very very highly priced. That's the norm. That is the standard all over the world. And let's say some fragrances over time get discounted, like even few months after releasing, if they're not doing so well, or they're like companies like Bulgari, Versace, you can expect Paco Rabanne, you can expect to get good deals on them. But some companies do not offer that. Thierry Mugler, nope sir. Chanel, Dior, you're not going to find that much discount on most of these fragrances. So for those fragrances, yes, you actually may have to wait for a year or so to go down a little bit on the pricing, but on most part, most fragrances are going to be retail. If you wait for a little bit, I think you can get them for discounted. But if you really love something, you want to get it before anybody else, you want to sniff it, so I think you can go for it if you have the cash. But most people, if you are going to be like doing planning, I think do not pay retail on most fragrances, especially the duty free are not cheap. I'm telling you, many people think duty free is cheap. It's not. Duty frees are usually very very expensive. They mark up 300%, that they give 100% discount. That's just BS. I'm sorry, no disrespect to people who shop in duty free. Second point is blind buying. Okay, this point is kind of tricky. Excuse me. Why is this tricky? Blind buying is tricky because many time you see those who follow reviewers, like you just watch someone's review and fall for the hype, and you just think like, oh okay, he talked about it, must be good, so I try it. I buy it without trying. And at times, some of the regions, they don't have any samplers, or I know so many countries, they don't have so many fragrances. In Malaysia, I couldn't find so many brands, no way to sample them before without going to the shops. So the thing is, You have to do blind buying sometimes, but if you do have the option, like I would like to say this, many people, I'm sorry to say, are kind of lazy and stingy, both. Why? Because these people, they are not willing to go up to the mall, paying a little bit fare or take that walk, even if the mall is next door. They don't go, because I do invest that time and money because I think it's worth it, rather than wasting like money on a full bottle, blind buying something. Let's say retail, I pay retail on one fragrance. I do regret it now, but I love the fragrance. It's like a love it or hate it. But I did pay full retail on this one based on someone's recommendation. Gucci Guilty Absolute, great juice, but not perhaps worth the $110 that I paid for it, right? So yeah, I mean, if I could actually sample it, I couldn't sample that fragrance before because they didn't have tester. So I blind bought it. But when you blind buy something, you might regret it because it's kind of huge risk investing so much money in a fragrance. You don't even know how they smell, right? So if you do have an option, I say buy some samples or decants from local vendors or members from the group. You can try, or if you have a friend, you can sniff it from their collection, or you can go to the shop, just collect, just try a few fragrances. What's wrong with that? So if you do put that effort and money, I mean, yeah, money is there definitely. If you can buy some decants 2 ml 5 ml, it's just a fraction of a cost, right? So in that way, I think it will save you big dent in your pocket, right? Third one is wrong season. This point is very, very important. Some people, I don't think they get it. Let's say when it's very, very hot and humid and you are actually looking to wear some Amouage. Let's say you love the house of Amouage, you like to wear Sunshine Man. I love Sunshine Man. I love this fragrance. It's beautiful fragrance. It's just like immortal, that note of it. It's just boozy. It's gorgeous. It lasts all day. But this fragrance, if you wear it in the winter, just one spray on your chest, is just beautiful. It lasts on you all day. It will project just nicely. You get whiffs of it, like wafts of it all the time. But if you wear this particular fragrance in the summertime, this will choke you. It will just do this to you, and you might end up hating the fragrance. So I would say choose your seasons and then choose your fragrances based on the season. If it's rainy, it's autumn, it's fall, winter, summer, so look at the weather outside. If that weather, let's say the hot weather, maybe go for something a little bit, like Sike All, kind of like a fresh, fruity, summery sort of fragrance that's, goes nicely with the heat, So if you choose wisely based on the season, I think it's a good thing. But many people make the mistake wearing summer fragrance in winter. They don't get any performance from it. See, like let's say some people are wearing, let's say Versace Purum in very cold countries, like let's say snowing, and you're not getting any smell out of it, and you think this fragrance is bad. No, it's summer fragrance. In summer, it smells gorgeous, projects beautifully because that heats up your skin. Then it will project a little bit more of your skin. So I think, yeah, season. Take note of the season. Okay. So next point is too much cologne or too less. Both could be fatal. When you wear a fragrance that is very heavy in nature, let's say once again 24 Gold Scent Story, it's already a strong fragrance. If you have 1 or 2 sprays on your neck or chest, it's plenty. It projects really nicely. You don't need, the concentration is so dense, you don't need 10 sprays of this. But if you do 10 sprays and you go into a lift and a lot of people inside with you, they're gonna be really bothered by your cologne. But there are some people on the other side of the boat. They find fragrances like that is like relatively, let's say, lighter in composition or not as strong. Okay, what fragrance can I show you? Okay, for example, good example, Dior Cologne, gorgeous fragrance, no problem, but it's light, it's lemony, but you are not heavy sprayer. You are very stingy because you want to save a bottle for 20 years. That's your mission, and you just go one or half spray on yourself, and you just say, I don't get any projection, I don't detect it. That is also not right. So make sure you just spray a fragrance, based on the concentration. Use it up. I mean, use it as much as you need it, right? Do not do overspray. Do not do too much less spray. Okay, that's another mistake. The fifth point is not using your cologne. I mean, many people I notice, they buy the fragrance and then it's just lying in the shelf for years. I said this before. Let's say you do not like that fragrance as much. It's like you never reach for it almost. Let's say your bottle is always full. Okay, you are actually wasting that juice. Okay, it just years go by, you don't reach for it, and you're not even selling it. I mean, if you do not like something, maybe it's not a showpiece, right? If you're a collector, you can keep it to make it look nice. But let's say you're a user and you're not using it, and you're just never gonna use it. Why don't you? So you have a lot of fragrance group in each country now. You can just put it up for trade, swap, or sale. Someone might enjoy it better, and you, with that money, you can buy something else that you like, right? So use up your fragrance. Do not keep them back in the storage for years. Okay. Number 6 is judging a fragrance too quickly. This is a very important point for me. I've seen many people, even experienced noses, they just try one fragrance one time from a sample or official sample or a decant or full bottle, and they just immediately conclude this is not my cup of tea. You know, it's not that you're forced to like something. It's totally understood. If you do not like something, you don't have to force yourself to like it, but give it some time. See how the fragrance dry down goes. Wear it like 2 3 times. If it's totally like makes you sick, avoid it, no problem. But you just think like the top note is too great, but dry down is not the good, you know, and you think it's not lasting that much. May not be the story in a long run. You know, a lot of fragrances did this for me. I thought at first they're not that great, they don't last. Like Mont Blanc Star Walker, you know, I have that fragrance somewhere. I thought at first I'm never gonna buy it because it's too weak. But with time I realized, more and more time went by, more and more I tested that fragrance. I just realized it's a very soothing, calming. I understood the concept of the fragrance. So spend significant amount of time with the fragrance before pulling a trigger or calling it a pass. Okay, that's a very important one. Do not make the mistake of judging your fragrance too quickly. Okay, next one is number 7. This is a very important point. I said this in my group a few days back. Do not expect your fragrance to do wonders if you are not clean, if you do not take showers, if you are not having good hygiene or cleanliness in your life. You're wearing like clothing that you don't send to laundry for 10 years, and you're expecting your fragrance to pick you up compliments or pick you up chicks. That's not going to happen. Just kidding. But what I'm trying to say is fragrance is essential, true, part of the day, part of your game. But also make sure your game is clean. All right, take shower every day. If you're living in a hot and humid country, try to take a couple of showers. That would be good. And with clean skin, fragrance will work better. Okay, so make sure cleanliness is important. Okay. Next one is number 8. Not understanding the concept of niche fragrances. This is very important. Niche fragrance is actually something that many people understand, like it's an upgrade from designer. You know, like if you're using your designer fragrance like Prada, Dior, Chanel's, Mugler, and you're thinking like, no, I'm done with my designer, so I have to upgrade to niche game. But the thing is, some people do understand the concept, some people don't. In my humble opinion, what is niche fragrance? Supposedly, what I understand is the quality of the fragrance, the ingredients has to be all natural ingredients, on most part, high quality ingredients. Okay, like that's what makes them expensive. Third is the fragrances have to be creative, something that's original, like unique offering. That is an must, like artistic aspect of it. Like fragrance has to be artistic. It's not like generic fragrance. You know, these are some of the things I look for in a niche fragrance. Not always necessarily beast mode performance. You know, many people think like niche always have niche like beast mode performance. Doesn't happen. So if you do not understand that concept, that you know, like you think you buy a niche fragrance like Aventus and it's gonna be like monster projector, doesn't happen, and you just think Aventus sucks. So you blame the niche fragrance in general. That's not true. You have to understand niche fragrances are all about, you know, like your nose to be on the next level, like the nodes break down, how they develop on your skin. It's like trying to portray something, you know, so particular, let's say like a sunset, or you know, like this fireplace, you know, like by the fireplace. I think Maison Margiela, I haven't tried it, but fragrance is trying to do something artistic. So if you are thinking to get compliments and you buy niche fragrance, I think also, you know, in my opinion, you are not understanding concept. And some people just buy niche fragrance to show off to others, like, look at my collection, look at, I got the interlude, I got the lyric man from Amouage, just to get respect. That is playing the game wrong. Buy it only if you like it. And I'll tell you one thing about niche. Okay, Parfums de Marly, I'm not gonna buy everything from Parfums de Marly. Just example, I love this fragrance, Godolphin. You know my story with Tuscan leather. That is something godlike. It's here, but with the current formulation, the price, I thought it was not justified for me to pull the trigger on that. This, however, different story. This one has better performance. It's almost identical. It's lovely. It worked with me, and I just love to have this in my collection because I love it a lot. Okay, this one means a lot in my world, right? So pick up your niche fragrances wisely. Do not buy everything. You'll end up not using it or liking it, right? The next one is sticking to the same fragrances. This is a big mistake. Do not. I mean, you can, with all due respect, if you like freshies, stick to your freshies, no problem. But at one point, you'll find out you cannot find something to wear on like a formal occasion, like you're going to wedding, some parties and stuff. For nighttime, freshies are not that great for nighttime, in my honest opinion. You want to wear something bit dark, sweet, and if let's say you want to try out new things like let's say vanilla, tobacco, oud, cherry, uh, incense, you might start liking them. You know, they might start growing on you. Try to get small samples and try to like explore different kind of fragrance. I think this is what people get stuck in one type and they judge everything else. Like I don't like this, I don't like anything else except freshies, I don't like anything else except oud. Okay, if you have variety of fragrances like I do, I love many kind of fragrances, but they have to be uh, actually lovable to my nose, that I can actually wear, pull it off with confidence, right? So make sure that you try out different kind of fragrances. Last but not least, I see this thing all the time in different groups. Two things I see people and I find them kind of like bit childish. Okay, first thing people ask going to a page, hey bro, are you selling this, is this original? And asking the page, if your page is selling fake, are they gonna tell you they are selling fakes? They're gonna tell no, we're selling original, right? So I mean, you can do your research and find out from other people who have experience buying from that like online store, whatever. Do not ask the owners if they're selling original or fake. They always say it's original, right? Second thing is I see people going to malls. Yesterday I saw this post in some group, and they said, you know, people asking for recommendations. You know, like, is this, should I pull the trigger on this? And I am kind of like split on that, because you know, if you do not trust your nose, and if you do not have the confidence to pull off a fragrance or buy a fragrance, you probably playing the great game wrong. Do not buy something on people's choice. You know, fragrance something is very personal. I think you should put your nose onto it if you can. If you like it, buy it. You know, have that confidence. You know, take that step that you know you have this confidence that you can actually buy a fragrance and rock it. You don't need people's approval. I smelled, for example, Daniel Icon for the first time. I knew right away it's gonna be a gem. It's different enough. It's unique. I picked it up. I like CK Reveal. I loved it. You know, I didn't ask people like, should I go for it? I liked it. I went for it. You know, I wear it proudly. What I like, right? So keep remembering this point. So I think it will help you making purchasing decision and buying better. You know, like you need to follow certain discipline. You know, do some research before buying a fragrance. Spend plenty of time on reviewing, like reviews, written reviews. You know, like columns. See more reviews. Invest a little bit time. You know, I think if you love the game, it's really fun. You know, if you just gonna be lazy and buy whatever and you just have 10,000 fragrances you never like learned anything about, I think it's kind of boring in that side. So that's all I have for you today. Hopefully the discussion will be helpful to some people. Everybody have a nice day. I think I'll go for afternoon work. See you soon. Bye bye.